This is the Gita class, chapter 12, Bhakti Yoga, devotional service, 3 and 4 slokas. We'll do the Mangalacharya prayers first. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjalasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatambitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savabhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakambhitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Pando Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanostute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarobhyascha Krupa Sindhubhe Vachapati Thana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gauravaktabanda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Bhagwan Ki Jai Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is the Bhakti Yoga, chapter 12, and the slokas 3 and 4. So the first sloka Arjuna asks, how do we worship the Bhagavan, either Nirakara or Sakara, and then the second sloka, Bhagavan says the three things are very important. It doesn't matter what kind of worship you do, whether you do the Sakara or Nirakara, Nirguna or Saguna, it's the same Bhagavan. So you get the result. But based on your Shraddha, and then you are based on Mayeva Mana, and then applying the mind on it, and then the Shraddha, and then Nitya Yukta, always. That's all. Those are the qualifications. Now, in this shlokas, he is going to explain more about the Nirakara part. So, even though how the Nirakara part is going to be defined, and then why the Nirakara is Nirguna is a little difficult compared to the Sakara or Saguna. But you have to get the understanding of the Nirakara also. Okay, the sloka goes like this. Etvaksharamanirdeshyam navyaktam paryupasate sarvatra gamachintyancha kutasthamachalam dhruvam sanniyamyendriya gramam sarvatra samabuddhayah te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhuta hite rataha. Etvaksharamanirdeshyam navyaktam paryupasate sarvatra gamachintyancha kutasthamachalam dhruvam Sanniyamyendriya gramam sarvatra samabuddhayah te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhuta hite rataha. Again, last one, 3 and 4 slokas. Etvaksharamanirdeshyam navyaktam paryupasate sarvatra gamachintyancha kutasthamacharam dhruvam sanniyamyendriya gramam sarvatra samabuddhayah te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhuta hite rataha. Ye, those who do, but aksharam, that which is beyond the perception of the senses, anirddeshyam, indefinite, avyaktam, unmanifested, paryupasate, completely engaged in worshipping, sarvatragam, all pervading, achintyam, inconceivable, cha, also, kutastham, unchanging, achalam, immovable, dhruvam, fixed, sanniyamya, controlling, indriya gramam, all the senses, sarvatra, everywhere, samabuddhayah, equally disposed, they prapnuvanti, achieve, mam, may, eva, certainly, sarvabhuta hite, for the welfare of all living entities, rataha, engage. Translation and the purport by the Srila Prabhupada. But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engaged in the welfare of all at last achieve me. Purport. Those who, and here in the translation, you know what it is saying, the first of all, it's a avyaktam. Okay, it's like a who fully worship, who worship the Bhagavan as unmanifested and beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading and inconceivable and unchanging, fixed and immovable. That is the impersonal conception of the absolute truth. Even if you see the personal conception of the absolute truth also, you can say the Vigraha, but that is not the Bhagavan. That is not the personal of the Bhagavan. I mean, you can do the Sakara, Nirakara. In reality, Bhagavan is unlimited all the time. so like a Vishwarupa Darshana, like that. So for that also, the mind cannot reach him. Because mind cannot reach him, so we just do the Acha Vigraha. I mean, doesn't mean that Bhagavan should be worshipped only by the Nirakara. But whatever may be the method you follow, you realize that. Once you realize, and then you are detached from all these upadhis and realize yourself and your self-realization that you are Atman, then at that time, the realization of the Brahman is a different plane that cannot be explained now because we are all in the mental plane only. That's why you just get the knowledge of the both and try to worship the Bhagavan also with this unmanifested, what is that, all pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed and immovable. All these characteristics also should be the Bhagavan's reality. For example, you worship the Bhagavan as Govinda, and then he is like a beyond he gives the pleasure to the Indriyas. That means he is beyond the Indriyas, right? And then Ananta, unlimited, like that. Achyuta, he will never fall down, like that. So it is better. And for that, how to do controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engage. So controlling the various senses is always there. Whether you follow the Bhakti Marga, Akara, Nirakara, Saguna, everything, you have to control the senses. Otherwise, the senses will drag you down. And being equally disposed to everyone, Sarabhota Iterataha is also common quality for both Bhakti Yogas, Karma Yogas, or Jnana Yogas. So I don't see much difference between the who worship or who is great or what is the real advantage based on whatever you are. Basically, left 99.99% of people are the embodied people, body consciousness people, even though they don't believe it or they don't realize it, but it's all body conscious because every thought or every action we do, the base thought is the body only. Now, purport. Those who do not directly worship the Supreme Godhead Krishna, but who attempt to achieve the same goal by an indirect process, also ultimately achieving the same goal, Sri Krishna. After many births, a man of wisdom seeks refuge in me, knowing that Vasudeva is all. When a person comes to full knowledge after many births, he surrenders unto the Lord Krishna. If one approaches the Godhead by the method mentioned in this verse, he has to control the senses, render service to everyone, and engage in the welfare of all beings. Actually, if you really see, these qualities are also for the Sakara also, because when you are worshipping the Bhagavan as a Acha Vigraha, indirectly you are controlling the senses. I mean, you don't need to control forcibly, but indirectly it will be controlled. The result will be same. It is inferred that one has to approach Lord Krishna, otherwise there is no perfect realization. Often there is much penance involved before one fully surrenders unto him. In order to perceive the super soul within the individual soul, that is very important. So if you really see this individual soul or super soul, it's like only the realization. You cannot explain in the words. That also explained here, anidesham. So in that case, right, the soul within the in the soul, and then soul within the individual soul, super soul. So those are all the things which are explained in a material perspective only. And one has to seize the sensual activities of seeing, hearing, tasting, working, etc. Then one comes to understand that the super soul is present everywhere. Realizing this, one envies no living entity. He sees no difference between man and animal because he sees soul only, not the outer covering. But for the common man, this method of impersonal realization is very difficult. That is the main thing. Because the common man, which we are all in the samsara, especially Gruhastha people, who day to day life, morning to evening, serving the other people with the body consciousness, it is very hard. But keeping this concept in the mind also, it really helps. Okay. So here, the controlling the senses, he says, Prabhupada says, very hard, and then also equally disposed to everyone, seeing everyone welfare. All these things are little hard, but it can be achieved. Same thing can be achieved through Bhakti Yoga very easily. Like you see the Bhagavan as the supreme, the Lord, and you are serving the Bhagavan, and then everyone is Bhagavan's things. Then it is very easy to control and easy to see everyone as equally disposed also. Okay. So those are all the things. Now, if you really see the Shankara Bhashya, which is really very good. So here he says, so mainly Nirdesham, Anirdesham he explains first. Etvaksharam, Aksharam. So that is what Brahman is, Aksharam. It's not Ksharam, it's not fallen, it is always there, it is always the super soul or the soul, It's not Kshara, it's not going to deteriorate, it is stays same, like that. So, and that Kshara, that Akshara, Anirdesham, so he says Anirdesham, the first one is Anirdesham. That means Nirdesham means you are going to explain with the words. That, Anirdesham means Akshara Brahma, which is beyond the Indriyas. So beyond the Indriyas means all the Indriyas, so that the tongue or there are no words for that. Okay, so that's why he's called Anirdesham. So you cannot explain in terms of the words, even though the Shruti also tells about everything. Basically, it's saying like this is not can be neti can be explained in the words, but the real absolute truth or our true nature cannot be explained in the words. That's why Omkara is not actually the Sanskrit syllable. Omkara is representation of the Bhagavan. There is some Shabda is given so that you can at least do the Upasana and then to get realization yourself. That is one thing. Etvaksharam, this Aksharam, Anirdesham, Avyaktam in the sense, Avyaktam means, so Avyaktam means it is already Pratyaksha Madalaniya Pramanam, so it cannot be Vyakta, Pratyaksha. You cannot see it. That is called Avyaktam. So you cannot really see with the Indriyas, mind, intelligence, everything, all the upanishads, because with that power you are seeing it. The seer is the Atman. So all the objects, including the mind, buddhi, everything, the false ego is also the object. So the object cannot see the seer. Like I cannot see its own self. So that is Avyaktam. And then Paryupasate. Upasate means Upasana, and Paryupasate means actively Upasana. So here also fully worship, unmanifested, beyond, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed. Okay. So worship is Upasana, and here Tattvedanta Shankara Bhashya explains so nicely that Upasana means Upasana is actually done by the mind. So within the Shastra limitations, based on the Shastra limitations, with the mind, you are going to do the Upasana, and then basically Mano Vritti. So that means Vritti means even the Bhagavan also, you make it as like a Vritti, one thought. Like even you are doing the japa also, or even the sakara, rakara, whatever may be the japa, Hare Krishna, Om Namah Shivaya, Om, like that, you are making that thought process. And then that process, because of that thoughts, and those thoughts are closely related to Bhagavan, and then they are slowly, Upasana means they are near to the Bhagavan. So even though the thoughts are different from the soul or Bhagavan, but still, because the thoughts are only thinking about the Bhagavan, so that's why you are near to the Bhagavan. That is called Upasana. The real called is Upasana. So with the mind you cannot reach it, but with the mind you can think of it, Bhagavan, or taking the japa, taking the Lord's name, but you are near to that, as if like the oil, the continuous flow of the oil. It's the same thing when you are doing for so much time and so many lives. That's called Upasana. That's what the Mahatmas are telling. That's what Shankaracharya say. So It's a very fine point. With this upasana, what we can do is that we can relate with. That's why we need the japa, we need the shravanam, kirtanam, Vishnu sparanam, padasevanam, or dhyanam, everything. Thinking about the Bhagavan, thinking about the Atma Swarupa, thinking about the nature of the world, it's all near to the staying near to the Bhagavan with all the Indriyas. But Indriyas cannot reach it, but Upasana at one point of time, with the maturity, again, with all the kalmashas goes and then all this goes, then we realize that. Okay? Now, that is what it is. So then he says, Hetvaksham Anidesham Upasat Sarvatra Gamachincha Kutasthamacharam Dhruvam. Now, this Akshara Brahma, the Krishna is explaining that Visheshanas, Akshara Brahma, how the Akshara Brahma, Sarvatra Gamachincham, Sarvatagam, Sarvatra Gamo, Sarvatra Gamo. Sarvatra Gamo means like it's always, it's expanding, pervading all. It's everything, it's all pervading basically. So that is almost like a sky, he says, Shankaracharya. Akasham vale pariktam. Achinchyamu. That is what expanding everywhere. Remember that Bhagavan is not in a particular place or location or time or anything, but he is everywhere. Time and space and distance doesn't matter at all. So that's why you can pray to the Bhagavan. You can call him anytime, any moment, from any place. Then Achintyam. Achintyam means all pervading, inconceivable. Then Brahma Indriya Gocharam kaadu, manasya ఊహించకను కాదు. So here so because it is beyond the senses and the mind. When these five senses are going towards the five objects, and the mind always goes with them. So whenever the mind is free, it goes to the five sense objects of the senses. That's all mind can go. That's why it is called avyakta. Okay, sarvatra gama achintyam. Achintyam means that's what it is. So that is what I think. Then sarvatra gama achintyam cha also kutastham. Kutastham means, again here it says unchanging. That's called kutastham. But here the vein is, Shankaracharya explains that outside it looks all good, but inside all the doshas, all the dukkhams, all the doshas are, the negatives are inside. That is called kutam. Kutam means anrutam. So that is almost like like it looks like a silver, but it is not a silver inside. It's almost like a tappu saksham, kota saksham. And it's also called you don't really tell the truth in the sakshi judgment or things, courts or whatever. That's called also kutam. So this kutam, kotastham achalam dhruvam. So avidya, that's called kutam, and then this avidya or maya or ahankara, all these are related to that kutam only. And then that is kutam, how it is almost like a sukha dukkha janma maranadi prabhavam. It's all sukham, dukkham, it's all dualities, and then janma maranas also in the kutam. Ajnanam edi karado, adiye kutam. So basically the seeds of the ajnanam. That is the seed of the jnanam, maya, or prakriti, dukkhalayam, all that is called kutam. And then kutastham means, again, that's kutam also explained, Shankaracharya explained more like ajnana means kamakrodas are there, maya, avyakritam, prakriti, and then that's like that. But kutastham, so the adhisthana of the kutam is Maheshwara. Maheshwarudu, because he takes Maya in his hands. That's why Mama Maya Dhruttaya, it says. So Adhishwarudu Sakshayundu Paramatma. Because of that, he is Adhishwara or Sakshi of that Kutam. That is called Kutastham. That is called Paramatma. And then also Kutam means Rashi. Dagali chalanamuleni mutta kutamuli vikaramuleni the Brahma. Basically, Dagali vanti kutam also explains that the Kamsal is Dagali, they will say, and then he does all the ornaments, and then he takes the, he breaks those goals and then makes this mashing and all those things, but Kutastham, that thing will be always stable. And then it stays there, and the Kamsal, everything will move on, but that is the only one that stays. This is called Kutam, and then Kutastham, basically, okay? That is what it is. Then Kutastham Achalam. Vikaramu. Achalam. So again, Achalam means again unchanging. Dhruvam means fixed, and unchanging, fixed, and then immovable is the Dhruvam. You cannot remove. It's like Dhruvam. Dhruvam means fixed. Because Dhruvam ante nityamo kalathitamani. So basically, Achalam, we know, it cannot move because it's all pervading. Where can it move? It's like infinite. And then Dhruvam means, Nityam means all the time it is there. That's called Dhruvam. So in the third sloka, that's what it is. Etvaksharam aniddesham avyaktam paryupasate sarvatra gamachincha kutasthamacharam. That's what the upasana people are. They are very interested in that thing. So akara, sakara, nirakara, it's like whichever interest you are in. Now sanniyam yendre gram sarvatra sambuddhaya te prapnumanti mameva sarvabhuta hiterataha. Again he says like, so those who control the senses and everything all the time, sarve indriya gramam sarvatra, all the time, sarvakalamlendu sukha dukkha, then samabuddhaya, then equality of the mind between the sukha and dukkha dvandvas, all the dualities. Again, those are the qualities of the bhakta or the jnani or the karmi. So it's all same. Samabuddhaya te prapnuvanti, they also reach him, reach Bhagavan. Mameva sarvabhuta hiterataha. And then that guy is hitamunandu priti. That means he likes, he loves, or he prays for the benefit of the society. Sarvabhuta, not only society, all the sarvabhutas, all the sarvabhuta hiterataha. He is interested in all the living entities. So that is what it is. So those people also, what they will do is like they will totally control the senses and everything, and then all the time they will have the equality of the mind. They don't disturb on the dualities, and then basically they get good or bad or sukham or dukkham, everything. They don't do that. And then that's those also will achieve Bhagavan, and then they will always be the help, liking the people of this karma yoga. So basically that's what. So basically the goal is same, whether you follow the person or impersonal, but these are the things will develop. So in the bhakti yoga, what happens is like if you have the akara, which is easy to perceive, and then what you do is like with that, the goal is same. That's what the Shankara Bhashya. Now coming to the Vidya Prakashananda Swami, he also explains pretty good. So again, same thing. Whoever controls the indriyas, and then whoever has like equality of samabhavamu, equality of both the dualities, and then he is hita sarvabhuta hiterataha. Again, he is equal to everyone. He works for the welfare of the people, or wishes it, prays for it. Okay, then. Then what they will do with these qualifications, they will again same thing, nirdesham, anirdesham, then which is beyond the nirdesham, avyaktam, then paryupasate, etvaksham, anirdesham, avyaktam, sarvatragamam chintyam cha, then okay, nirvikaram, aniddesham, basically they are also unmanifested, like we already explained, the Prabhupada explained, unchangeable, unconceivable, beyond the senses and all this. Those also will achieve me. So here the Vyakhya of purport of the Vidya Prakashananda is pretty good. So basically one is there is one God. He is Sakara and Nirakara also, Saguna or Nirguna also. So with the Shraddha, with the Bhakti, uncontaminated pure Bhakti, you can do the Upasana for anything, like a Jnana Bhakti or like that. So these are all these two slokas are about people who are worshipping the Nirguna Brahma. Okay. And then first sloka is always talks about the qualities or the how the nature of the Nirguna Brahmamu. And then the second sloka explains that what are the things we will be for qualifications uh, to get that Nirguna Brahman, to realize that Nirguna Brahman. Then, for example, even though the person, the bhakta, is doing the dhyana of the Paramatma, but his Hridaya Shuddhi lenicho, that means his heart is not clean, and then he is not controlling the Indriyas, Indriya Nigraham lenicho, Kali Undancho, Pranikotla Daya lenicho, he is not even have that pity of all the living entities, then that particular dhyana will not give any result. So that means whether you are sakara or nirakara, these qualities are needed, because controlling the, for example, if you see the cleanful, artful, cleaning the heart, kama krodhas are the ones which are the dirt in the heart. If you have that, whether you worship the akara, nirakara, that's why in the bhakti you should first remove the kama krodhas, kamas at all. Then also at the same time, if you don't have the and then control of the indriyas, you cannot fully focus on the Bhagavan. And then indriyas will be going to different objects, and then you will be doing the bhoga, and that's where you don't get the result. Again, this is the main thing. All the living entities you should be having pity, and then about all the living entities, and try to help them. So that's what. Again, that upasana, whoever is worshipping that upasana, who is not have these qualities, then it's almost like a bowl with a full of dirt in it, and then dirt or కళాయి లేని పాత్రలో వండిన పప్పు పులుసు ఉంటారు కళాయి లేని. So it's not a cleaned bowl, but if you are doing all this sambar or anything, it will be totally spoiled. So even though you put all the ingredients, everything good, but if the bowl is not clean, you are not going to get the result. Same thing, the Hridaya Shuddhi, Indriya Nigram, Bhutadaya. So these are the three things which are very important. That's what he says. So again, the qualities are three qualities if you are unmanifested worshipping the word, but the qualities are Sanniyam Indriya Gramam. So you have to control the Indriya. Sarvatra Samabuddhaya, all you have to equality, and then Sarvatra Samabuddhaya, equality, and then for everything, whatever is happening, and then Sarvabhuta Hite Rataha, you should be always hitam for the benefit of all the people. So that's why the mumukshus who are doing the dhyana, they should keep developing these three things. So niyamya, sanniyamya. So he says like not niyamya, sanniyamya means not just controlling the little bit, but fully controlling. Then sarvatra means sarva, samastha pranas, all the living entities, not a few. So prema, daya, upakara, buddhi kaligi undavan. So you should have love, and then daya, mercy, and then upakara buddhi, always trying to willing to help them. కలిగి ఉండడం ఈ ప్రకారం వస్తువులను ధ్యానించిన ఆ పరమాత్మ చేయగలిగిన ప్రాప్నువంతి. Those people who have this, they will achieve the Bhagavan. So basically in the next sloka he is going to explain that why the Nirakara is more complicated. But in this sloka it all explains the Akara, Nirakara worship. And that second sloka he says like whatever may be the thing, but the three things are mind should be totally on Bhagavan, and then always thinking about the Bhagavan, worshipping the one, and then we have full Shraddha. These are the things which are needed. So if you really see our own nature, if you really see, sometimes we can fix our mind in the Akara. That's where you get more excited, more bhakti, and then you can do the puja and all those things, bhakti. Then some cases you really want to see how the nature of the Bhagavan and all that, which is almost like Nirakara kind of thing, because he is all pervading. How can you give a form to him? So even though you can give a form, but you can think of the other side of the coin also, you like it. So those kind of things also you can also do it with your best ability. And then again, keep thinking about all the time. That's where you get detached, and these are all the so many ways it is telling ultimately whether whatever the form you should understand, have the knowledge, and then understand the Bhagavan is the only one which we need to know. And then our nature also not the matter. We are not Neti Neti, we are just Atma only. And then of course Shankara philosophy says Atma, Paramatma both are same in this Mahavakyas also telling and all kinds of things. But we don't need to worry much. But whatever we should be doing is, first of all, cleaning up the mind, cleaning up the heart, and then try to remove all the Kama Krodhas, and then live a simple life, and then more focus on the Bhagavan and try to get into there. Because with this one, why we need to do is with Dukkha Prapti, Dukkha Nivrutti, Sukha Prapti. That is what it is. If you really say, you understand, if you keep on understanding the nature again, everything is like a Dukkhalayam. Why? Because all when the moment it is connected with the Bhagavan, the Jiva, connected with the matter, it's all Dukkham. The Jiva detached from the matter and connected to the Bhagavan is a unlimited happiness. That should be our goal. With this one, we can always enjoy, and then that's why keep on analyzing and going through the journey. And with the Sattvika Gunas, again, if you really see, right, you cannot totally avoid the unmanifested stuff. Because if you really see the manifested also out of the Panchabhutas, the Bhumi you can see entirely with the Indriyas and everything. And then Bhumi, Apo, and the water you can see half and half. The water, because water changes the form. Which form it is, we don't know. Fire, you can see the form, but at the same time the expanding forms and all that. Air, definitely you cannot see that. And the sky beyond your senses. Even in the Panchabhuta, the unmanifested, the subtle levels of the Mahabhutas also are so subtle you cannot perceive it. The Indriyas cannot perceive it, means then forget about the Atman. So that's why whether Akara, you don't need to reject the totally things, but try to have the open mind, try to and then take advantage of each and every yoga and try to go further. That's how the idea is. And then this is like a path which you will reach at one point of time. So many acharyas followed it, and then Vivek Chudamani also said, they created a path, they know the direction, they already realized it, so it is a grand success and Bhagavan is going to help us. So Salpamapyasya Dharmasya Trayate Madhava, a little bit of working towards this will give you unlimited happiness. And then he says so many times in the Gita, Nami Bhakta Pranashati, my Bhakta will never fall down. So with all this energy, with all this positive stuff, and then try to be positive all the time, and then with all charities, teachings and everything, living the life happily with whatever you have it, and then enjoy everything, and then finally you will get the result. Okay? Hare Krishna, Krishna Bhagavan ki Jai.